Be late today. Morning, everybody. How you all doing? What's going on with the goings ons? Brother Barry is out there trying to make a difference in Chicago. Hey, family, how you doing?
I'm doing good. And yourself?
How cold is it there, man?
Ice cold.
So let's be real. The beginning is the beginning. The beginning is there are 200 million people in the United States of America that are under a winter storm advisory or warning in some form or fashion. Thus far, 17 states have declared a state of emergency, and the District of Columbia has done the same. I know we've done the same here in Georgia. I do not know why, but allegedly North Georgia, which Atlanta is a part of, is supposed to get hit in some form or fashion over the weekend, if not Monday. I don't think we're going to get anything in my area. To be honest with you, it's too warm. And this is my opinion. It's too damn warm, but they keep saying we're gonna get something, and these folks then lost their everlasting damn minds. They have gone crazy. You know how it is, bro. You go to the store, ain't no milk, eggs. What's the other thing? Milk, egg, toilet paper. Milk, eggs, toilet paper. Bread, milk, eggs, and toilet paper. Thank you. It's all gone. The shelves are just super duper empty. I was in Walmart. Man, I went in Walmart to get honestly, I went in there to get half a dozen eggs because it's just me. So I was like, my eggs are low, so let me just grab some. But that wasn't because of this. I just wanted to grab some more eggs and some cookies. That's what I went that mug for, bro. I went down them aisles. I was like, God dang, you think it was apocalypto up in this mug, Walker? You know what I'm saying? Um, it's gotten a little better, but it's still bad. Shouts out to those folks in those DCs. A DC, if you don't know, family is not the District of Columbia; it's a distribution center. Shouts out to those folks who are loading up those trucks to get those trucks moving. Shouts out to those truck drivers that are still on the road trying to get goods to people so that they can have food, sources of heat, or whatever you may need in order to make it through whatever the storm may bring in your particular area. Uh, we will see what this leads up to, but right now I think it's going to be much to do about nothing, especially here in the Atlanta area. But yeah, you never know. The forecast though shows us above freezing for the vast majority of the weekend, and not way above freezing, but above freezing, like in the 40s for the vast majority of the weekend. There was only a couple hours I saw, and I believe that's Monday morning, which we dipped at or below freezing. So again, initially this thing came through and it was supposed to be the entirety of the weekend. Now it's come through and you're looking at potentially just Monday morning for a couple hours. And then hell, it warms up around 8 o'clock in the morning, if that long. Because honestly, it was just a very few hours in the early hours of the morning, and then it was supposed to warm up there. So after, so boom, you can stop showing off the hat, bro. I love the new hat. Yes, it's absolutely fire. Yeah, I do need to put my order in because I need one of them. But yeah, uh, what's happening? We'll get that. Rashi came in, then she left out. Hopefully, she'll be back in. We can talk to her about the weather in her area. We'll talk to you about what you're seeing in Chicago. But tell the people why you're in Chicago first and foremost.
Well, I'm in Chicago today to hopefully work out an agreement to work with the city of Chicago on that consent decree, and also bring the watch to Chicago, help them build out the database of law enforcement, and just do a collaboration with surrounding cities as well. So we're hoping, got a meeting set up, and we'll close the deal. ABC always be closing,
That's it.
so we'll get it closed. And you know, um, yeah, they said ICE involved in a shooting in South Minneapolis a little while ago. I could believe it, but I'm gonna ask the question again. I've asked since I want to say December.
Why
Some
y'all outside?
why ask people, since December, like, yo, why not download the app for free, record the interactions with ICE? That way y'all can't deal with it. Here's the truth about ICE and these shootings and these guys that's running ICE. We just had over 100 police officers in the metro and outside of the metro that's quitting the force to go join ICE.
Mm.
Now, let me let you in on a secret. Some of those cops have an agreement based off of their union contract where they can get $100,000 payout because of all of what's happening at the unrest. Then they'll get that $50,000 from ICE with that bonus.
The sign-on bonus.
They'll do ICE for a couple of years and they'll do what they did after the rise in George Floyd. They'll come back and be police officers, but they'll be violating your rights the entire time. And then they'll hop back on the force. And so we're in a critical mass in this country. And the critical mass that we have in this country is we got to get out of performative things. No knock to the whistles, but the whistles is present. How are you going to deal with them in the future? Because this thing is going to swing. And we have to be prepared to hold these officers accountable in the present if we can, and if not, in the future. And this shooting, my condolences, first and foremost, to the young man who was murdered. But MPD should be on the scene. And I talked about this again. There's things that you can do. And yes, there's only so many officers, but Minneapolis isn't that big of a city that if you had officers placed in certain precincts, then when these commotions happen, that ICE agent should be arrested on the scene. Not allowed to go back to ICE headquarters, be whisked away to another, state, and then start this process to dehumanize or violate the rights of another American citizen. But this is the process. And this is, somebody asked me yesterday, like I said, well, why didn't you do this 18 days ago? And I'm like, we've been on this. Like, I don't understand. 18 days ago, we've been on this. We were on this when they were talking about the Somalis. I went into Carmel Mall. And if I'm being real, I didn't go back because they didn't have an urgency. They didn't seem like they were bothered by the situation with ICE. I'm looking down the streets and I see a lot of white Americans out there. I see some of us sprinkled in. And shout out to Isaiah. They pulled it off yesterday. You got to tip your hat to people when they're successful. That was a beautiful protest, a show of unity and people being tired. So shout out to them. We just need people to be more urgent, though. I still think it's not enough of us still urgent about this matter.
So let's talk about that. So the protest happened yesterday. There were thousands of people that showed up and showed out. They took to the streets, obviously. They gathered at Commons Park and then went down to Target Center. Am I saying that right? Or was it the reverse, bro?
Oh, they were like in a few places. They were at the Minneapolis St. Paul Airport. They had a bunch of clergy. They had over 100 clergy that got arrested out there. Then they gathered at the park, and then they went downtown. So yeah, they were all over the place. But it was perfectly orchestrated. Now let's keep in mind, Isaiah's been doing this for a while, and so all you can do is tip your hat. And let me shout out my sister Amber Jones, because I know Amber is a part of the leadership over inside of Isaiah, and she's also from Chicago. So she's, I'm in her neck of the woods now. But shout out to my sister Amber Jones, because I know she cares about her people.
What's Isaiah for those of us that are ignorant? What is that?
I couldn't tell you. It's a bunch of I just couldn't tell you. They are a religious organization. Hey, listen, bro, it's not like I liked them in the past, but I shout out Amber because I heard Amber was over there. And so I think they're a Christian-based organization, and they've been on this abolish the police thing for a minute, and they've been on a couple of movements when it comes for this for a minute. But unfortunately, y'all, if it seems like I am behind on this situation with the shooting inside of Minneapolis, I'm not in Minneapolis right now. And when I woke up this morning, even though I posted a video on Facebook, I'm really like preparing for this meeting. And there's some radical. They are radical.
That's the answer. All right, thanks, Jamar.
Radical far left Democrats. And look, I'm not knocking them whatsoever, because when you pull something off, and that's the other thing I do want to say before Rashi hop in, is that we have to stop shooting at each other publicly. When people do things, it's always in my belief that, even if I oppose, I don't need to talk about it publicly.
Mhm.
Some things you just have to allow, and it's not even allow. Some things you just have to shut your own mouth to allow people to do what their thought. Let them try their thought process. If it succeeds, it succeeds. If it fails, it fails. And you don't need to do I told you so's. You don't have to do anything like, yo, you don't have to you don't have to diss them. And I say that because there was some people that were kind of like, yo, black men are not protecting black women based off of what happened with Nakima Armstrong and Chantel being arrested by ICE. And I was
Go
trying to,
ahead,
I
and
was
I'll
trying
get back to the Nakima part.
that brother James Johnson was coming at, because here's two things that I can tell you. Black men do protect black women. And I always hear like it's too little, it's too few, it's too little. And the one thing I will say is that it depends on the black men you surround yourself with. And I'm gonna say
Well,
that one,
Don Lemon was there, right? I'm
huh?
just saying.
What'd you say?
Don Lemon was there, right?
Don Lemon was there, and there was other brothers who were there as well. And those brothers may end up being arrested too. They're not saying that they're done arresting people or charging people. Like let's just be real. There are people who may still be charged in that situation. The other side of it too is that sometimes the best protection is not to make a small thing into a big thing, because if this administration see that it agitates our community, they may continue the agitation. Sisters uh, do a lot of things and they don't ask us for permission for nothing. But I am almost at my wit's end when I see this thing with white supremacy clashing with black folks and violating our rights, to see some black people always turn around and blame other black folks. And let me say this, because typically they come from this one religion. I'm going to call it out. Christians. I know you got a jealous God, but everybody don't believe in that same jealous God you pray to.
Say that
We,
again.
we all don't believe in white Jesus. And that may hurt your feelings. But when I always see this pandering to women, I just want y'all ladies to be mindful. Derek Jackson sat in his car and he pandered to y'all a lot. And even at one point, his wife, with the bonnet and all, she was supportive of the BS that he was putting up as well.
You say the bonnet and all.
But you found out that that pandering and those pandering Negroes are typically the ones who y'all say are there. That's always kind of like doing the more diabolical stuff. So I just hope moving forward, my Christian brothers and sisters, because I don't know what it is about white Jesus and y'all, where y'all always got to throw black men under the bus. I think it's that, I know what it is. I know what it is. But
It's the correlation. It's the correlation of grandma. See, grandma and granddad can't be wrong.
yeah,
It's that indoctrination and the love that you have for your elders that it ties us so, I believe. And we if we admit, if we take a moment to look beyond just what we were given to grab something else, because there's more than one book, more
yeah,
than one book.
yeah.
And it's we I think a lot of us feel offense that we are being offensive to our elders. And we are taught to respect our elders.
And
That's a difficult thing to break, I believe.
and no, and I respect that, but I notice our elders don't do that amongst their peers. Our elders never say that black men don't protect black women. Black men and our elders don't talk about sisters in the way that we do today.
Hmm.
I think that that's a new version of the pulpit. Like this is some new age Christian scholarship that's going on, but it's a
So
predatory scholarship. It's predatory because I have to dismiss you, Lee, because you're another lion in the jungle, and I want the pride for myself. So
so was Drewski right?
well, I didn't see the piece with Drewski, but I'm pretty sure if it was funny
Was
enough,
Drewski?
he was definitely right. But it's the knocking of the pride, and I hate that because it takes away from the moment that if the issue is white supremacy, let's focus on white supremacy. If the issue is the system, let's focus on the system. But when I see that pandering, and I see black women and non-black women agreeing that black men are not protecting black women.
Wow.
And I asked the question, and Sister Rashi, you're on, so I'm gonna ask you as a woman. Were brothers supposed to were we supposed to get strapped up, put on all black, and break them sisters out of federal jail? Or were we just supposed to do what brothers did? Sat by, see what was happening. They released the
Mhm.
sisters and just chill. What should black men do in those situations, Sister Rashi?
You said that wrong.
Mm, 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 mm.
Okay.
Hold on, Rashi. I'm gonna throw a caveat to that. Were we to do all of that Brother Thomas Berry said to get them out, get them in the truck, and for them to turn around and be like, "You couldn't pick me up in no bands." Go ahead, Rashi. Rashi.
Yeah, I was just trying to process this. What are y'all supposed to do, right? That's what you're asking me.
Yeah,
When
like
Mhm.
y'all see sisters in trouble, what is there to do? And I'm gonna have to deal with proximity. I'm all about proximity, right?
right.
If you see some shit go down, you use your physical body. You put yourself between her and it, if
Hmm.
you can. I mean, we done did it before. I know some black women that done stuck their hands in the fire for their man, for their children,
Hmm.
right? For their family. And a good example of this is, have y'all seen that footage with Corey uh, Holcomb, where he's having a conversation with a woman who's, let's keep it a buck. She being verbally combative,
Hmm.
and she talking real greasy to a man who may or may not have um, coping mechanisms for such behavior. You know what I'm saying? So he reached out and he mollywopped her. You know what I'm saying? He mollywopped her, but there was a man, right? There was another man
Hmm.
right there in their face. He stepped between him and her. He stepped between him and her facing him. That's deep to me because a lot of men have faced her, right?
Hmm.
But because you face the threat, right? You face the threat. Unless I got that wrong militarily, right? You face the threat, right? You
Right.
don't never turn your back to the threat. So he faced him, and then moved him away from her. So proximity is important. If you are watching someone abuse black women, just know it won't be long. It won't be long before they at your, like you and Mr. Rodney say about what we doing to them Somalis. Cool. You don't mind them doing a Somali like that? Just know it won't be long. It won't be long. They don't know, who's the captain. They don't know who, say they don't know who's pretending to be Somali or American. They just gonna swoop down. So when you see a black woman getting hurt, and I don't care whether you're a black man or not, if you see a black woman getting hurt, do something. And let me tell you why. Because there's a trend right now where if you lost or you not somebody's hurting you or you lost, whether you're a child or a woman out there, they say go find you a black person
No, they say go find you a black man.
or a black woman. If you a
No, no,
child,
no, no. Let's say it correctly. The white woman told her child, if you're lost, go find you a black man. And I think that
I've heard it. I've heard it several different ways. In fact, what I've heard mostly is go find a black woman, right? An older black woman at that. So when if we're going to be that bastion of safety, if y'all gonna keep run, people are gonna be able to run, hide up under our skirts when they feeling unprotected, when they feeling in danger. Then when you physically see her with your eyeballs, hurt, a black woman being hurt, then just know that skirt that everybody trying to run up under is in danger, and so you protect her because she has an already untold social mandate to protect everybody else ever since the day of mammyism when they first had us nursing their babies
so I want
and
to be
cooking their food.
I want to be correct. She was not being physically assaulted in front of black men. That wasn't the point. The point of the matter was she was arrested while her husband was there recording the arrest. Who was a good friend of mine, by the way. Marquise Armstrong is a dope brother. And Nakima, we're very cordial. She's a cool sister. Have no issues with her. But she was not being physically assaulted while black men watching. The point of the matter was she was arrested. And what were black men supposed to do after that point? That's my point. I don't, as Jamar stated, brothers won't watch her get physically assaulted.
So this is what we do in Kansas
Thank
City
you.
when we have we have a coalition of women who go around and they talk to those kind-hearted white ladies and they tell them we have at least 1,000 black women who have children who are currently being incarcerated for nonviolent crimes. Do you have it in your budget to donate to this fund where we release black mothers out of prison for nonviolent crimes? That's one of the things we do here in Kansas City. We do not have black women sitting in prison, in jail, so long that they lose their housing, they lose their food stamps, they lose their children to the state, they lose, all the things that they've been able to maintain, all their covenants with the state.
Mm-hmm.
When you get arrested, they don't hold down to that. If you don't make it to the meeting, they just say you being non-compliant.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that Kansas City does is we free those women, but it takes money from the general public to do that. With it's called the KC. They call the KC Defenders. Chicago has another chapter as well, and the Defenders do everything from give women money in the grocery store. They done walked up on me 2 and 3 times and handed me $20, $30. Not with no nothing. They just give you the cash and they expect you to take care of your family's
So
needs with it.
I'm watching the shooting. They was pistol whipping this man. This is why context matters. And I hate to interrupt because sometimes I'm watching them pistol whip this man, 5 ICE officers. This man is laying on the ground when they shot him after they finished pistol whooping him. And that's
I,
why
I haven't I haven't seen that one yet.
I'm watching it live. Thanks to my boy, thanks to P, Precise, who typically is on the show with us. He has it on his Facebook. And this is, once again, my neck of the woods on the south side. Context matters.
Can we clear it, Lee, so that we can show that footage? Because when if Barry can see it on his computer, it's a good chance we can see it. We can see it
It's not
on
on my
a.
computer, it's on my phone.
It's on
Oh,
right.
okay.
I don't have
Oh,
it.
okay.
Because
I
I'm
didn't look
Oh,
for
okay.
it.
because I'm
All
streaming.
right.
Well, I typically watch the stream to see what the comments are or watch who's viewing us so I could add more people because I'm about to do my tag people that were on. So I watched it and I wouldn't suggest anybody watch it again because listen, it's trauma porn. But I could, if you want me to, I can share it. But all they're doing is pistol whipping this man in a circle and they shot him. Now I'm gonna ask the question again. When we ask about somebody being locked up in prison and customs that didn't get beat up, they get pistol whipped, she didn't get put in a headlock, and we say black men are not, what about this man who just got gunned down? I'm pretty sure he's Latino. I guarantee you there won't be Latino people saying Latinos are not protecting women, children, or people in their community. They're not online calling that out. When that 5-year-old boy was used by ICE for his people, and I'm watching Latinos on the black dude comment talking about black men are not protecting black women, clicking like to that shit. But there's no call for Latino men to step up in this situation when they're using 5-year-old kids and gunning their people down in their community. There is no call for Somali men to get in the street and protest after the shit that they did was part of the reason why the DOJ is here. But it's always this idea, whether it's voting, unrest, or whatever the case, the black man is always the father. And Rashi, if the idea is that go get a black woman and she'll be your savior, well, a savior don't need protection. That's the point. Saviors don't need protection. Saviors save.
Good point.
And so to me, man, it's so frustrating for me because when I started this trek of doing this 4 years ago, and what I wanted to do with this app and what I will do with this app is because of moments like this. But when parables are misquoted and facts are twisted, to fit the narrative that we want. This is what we learn from white people. We learn how to take statistics and data and make the story say what we want them to say. We learn how to take situations and scenarios. And this ain't about what my sister Rashi said. This is what I saw online here locally. There's some things that has happened behind the scenes with a lot of Black leadership in this state. And this is why people won't come together. A decade or so ago, a group of sisters wrote a letter to Republican legislators asking to file charges against Black male leadership. This was public. If y'all want to know why Black men don't go out and support all of the female led, you better ask, was those women on that list or that letter? Because in our community, that's treasonous. That's traitorous. We don't go to white people about our issues. That happened here, y'all. And then when you have situations like this where we need us to come together, you know why people ain't fusing? Because they're like, yo, you wrote that letter trying to sick them people on me. Oh, they on your ass now?
Well, here's one thing that Nakima and her husband could have done, because they knew when they rallied those people for a cause that there was the potential to upset, right? When you rally people, period,
Right.
for any cause, for anything, there's a potential to upset. So if you're going to do a mass protest and you don't have money to get people out of jail, you don't have anybody funding your protest, you don't have a backer for the things that can happen all the way down to loss of life, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
this is America, so loss of life is an actual probable, possible outcome of a
Outcome.
protest,
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
right? For a protest. So then technically, as you gather people without any plans for their financial and or physical safety, what you're doing is and I know it sounds like I'm saying don't dissent. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying dissent has to happen in a way to where the people who decided to come out, they care enough about it to where they are funding it. They are um, they've created their own security for it. I don't. It's hard to do because people, when they come out en masse, they just come out indignant, ready to tell people how something ain't right. But whoever created the space for that needs to have a permit, and that permit should come with the possibility of knowing that there's loss of life possible, there's imminent danger for physical harm, spray mace in the face, and all that other stuff. So are you giving gas masks? Do you have any type of wear to protect them
Hold on.
from?
So, Sister Rashi, I think
Hold
you,
on. Time out. Time out.
yeah,
That's too much intel that you're telling the other side about what you about to do. That is a recipe for disaster. That is a recipe for whatever you're trying to do to never happen.
yeah.
So I understand what you're saying, Rashi. I understand.
It could be as
You
simple as
have a,
having water stations where people can wash their face once they get maced.
Oh,
but
It's
look,
as
that
simple as
people here are pretty equipped
yeah,
with all that, Rashi.
right.
They got lumber stations. They got stuff for water and milk. They got all that. And Nakima wasn't outside. She was actually inside of a church. That's what got her.
right, right. But that's exactly it
But
too. They don't care about the church. I
but
mean,
but
they don't
sister,
care about where.
Nakima has bail money. Nakima's okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Chantel got bail money. They're okay. That's the whole point of what I'm saying. They're okay. Like they were not put in a situation, and Brother Jamar can attest to this. They were not put like outside of being handcuffed by this crazy ICE, being detained. There's no way we're going to sit by. I'm just saying, black men in general. We ain't letting these white folks get too far ahead of themselves and none of that. And I think that that's one of the pieces that I'm just always have to speak out and say like, yo, we're not letting nobody get too far. Like, listen, if y'all think, listen, we'll tear this motherfucker up. Like, why? Here's what I'm saying to black men who feel like they are the one. You're not the one, brother. We are the we. That's part of the problem. If you milquetoast niggas just shut up half the time and understand that really lions don't necessarily chase hyenas just because. If it's a threat, brothers will show up and do something about that threat. When there is no threat, You sit in the grass and you watch. It's pretty much what it is. Instead of thinking you're the one like Neo, there is a collective. It's more brothers who are more assertive in protecting Black women than there are Black men who allow it to happen. It's just those men may not fraternize and be in places sometimes when things go wrong. So when sister, she arranged to be turned in at a hotel, that wasn't a place where everybody in the community knew that was going on. Once she got locked up, what do you want people to say on Facebook? Like, you can't say, good morning, brother Marlon, happy birthday to you, by the way. You cannot, like we have to get out of this performative piece, because Rashi, if my goal is to protect you, you don't want me to be performative. You want to make sure that if there is a threat, I am there to put that threat away. And if you need my assistance without you having to do anything to dehumanize yourself, that I am giving that to you. But that is a synergy relationship that we have amongst each other. It may be I assist you in this physical protection, whatever, and you may just give me words of encouragement. Or just because you are a sister, and I know by protecting you, that will further help the community, because there may be a child that's sitting in your classroom that you can continue to breathe life into. That's
Yeah,
where that's where the synergy goes. It does not, it's not as transactional as we,
as this for that. I got you, brother. But
right.
this is what you have to understand in these days. Civil unrest. It is our the ability to assemble out in public. That's our basic constitutional right, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the state's
Mm-hmm.
response to your constitutional right can shift. You may have said right. We all have said right. But when the state starts feeling like that right, you orchestrating that right, you using it, they're starting to put the state in danger. They are able to sanction from there all kinds of violence, state sanctioned violence. And if you are a protester, which is legit. You're supposed to protest when shit ain't right, but you also have to be mindful of the fact that it might be your last, or it might, something can transpire at all of these events that make it the last time that you get to dissent. And so
But
until
this
we understand, but we still running out there like it's 1967 and we saying free love, but that's not what's happening. It's some new shit out there, all the way down to the chemical formula of the mates they use now. So we not prepared, in my opinion, to dissent the way we sending folks out there, but not prepared. And so I'm interested in not meeting up at a church saying fuck ICE. Valid. Thank you, Miss Nakima. Thank you so much for that. But more in preparing us for an ever aggressive state that's trying to push back on the fact that we unhappy about how poorly this country is being run, and how bad we're doing, even if we get up every day and go to work. That's a real issue here. We don't want to be at war with Greenland. We don't want to support Israeli violence on Palestine. We don't want somebody coming in, kicking in our schools, making our children scared while they pull their classmates out of class and detain them. We don't want our co-workers pulled off of our job and detained while we are on the clock. Like you said, that's traumatic. But the point of the matter is, until we prepare ourselves for this actual reality, this is what's going down. Um, and you saying prepare yourselves how, right? And I'm telling you, it's something we have to start talking about. Other than what was I supposed to do while he arrested her? No, what was any of us supposed to do when they come in and get our loved ones and
Well,
co-workers for
no, that's not.
dissenting against?
So the question is not what are you supposed to do when they arrest her. She's already arrested. That was set up privately. People know what to do if they're there. See, the idea is that Black men are like this bumbling idiot. I think people watch too many television shows and too much reality TV. Black men know what to do. I think it's the people who don't know what to do who have an assumption of what they think needs to be done. And I feel like that's part of the problem. The messaging is not a part of the reality. And I think that we have to nip at this messaging piece, because the messaging piece only tend to serve the messenger. It denotes all the other brothers to make the messenger seem like they're some type of savior. And we have to be honest that happens too much in our community. I don't feel like I'm a unique black man in America. I know that there's a Levon out there. I know that there's a Marlon out there. I know that there's a Travis Single. I know that there's so many men out there who are willing to stand up in the gaps and do stand up in the gaps. So I'm not going to act like it's just me, my band of brothers, or the people I know. Oh yeah, because me and Nick Muhammad, we were the only one. No, that's not how that works. Because I've ran into too many brothers across the country that I don't eat breakfast with, I don't eat lunch with or dinner with, and I know that they stand in those gaps. But why are we online on this white man's internet talking as if we don't? And then the other side of it is when you say to people that there is no shepherd herding the flock, that tells people to do what? Come and get the sheep. So why do we do that so readily? So when people get mad at me for hopping online and be like, yo, niggas be on here acting sassy, that's the part I'm talking about. Because it's a
Don't
level.
bring that back up.
No, because it's a level of energy that's always given off about brothers. And I know where it comes from. It comes from sitting around hearing women talk about the men in the relationships that they've had bad terms with as a young lad. And then you feel like your daddy ain't shit, so ain't no other man shit. But you. Because that's all mama told you.
Right.
Daddy ain't shit, but you, hey, but you everything. Or let's say if you in the church, your daddy's the deacon or the pastor, your daddy's something, you something, the rest of these men ain't shit. That's how that comes across. All the men in the church are everything, but if you don't believe in Jesus Christ, whatever, you ain't shit.
Man, I mean, I ain't trying to push back, and I agree. I'm just telling you, as a black woman, that's not quite how we see y'all. Because when we need some shit to go down, we come get our brother, we go get our uncle, we go get our daddy, we go get our man. Whether it's like we might be including them in some bullshit, but we still go get them. And so when Chinese, when Koreans mop mollywop women in the middle of the store, it be a band of men who come in and tell them, if you mollywop another motherfucking black woman, we gonna burn that shit to the ground.
Facts.
When you understand? So they rally. No, I don't think we saying that y'all not doing it. If anything, we're afraid. We're afraid like we got a brand new brand of overseers from another country or something. They not American overseers, and they coming in and they more vicious like, and we're just afraid that your regular dissent, the regular anger in the heart of a regular old black dude, could get them killed today because they scared. They scared that your anger is going to be united for one with the Latino anger. The scariest thing in the world right now is for an angry black man to start talking real talk to an angry Hispanic man on what they gonna do about both of their communities that's under siege. You understand? So
So,
as long as they can keep dissent, keep the fence up between the two of us, keep us from saying anything about each other. Yes, if it means arresting a black woman in her church for saying that ICE is wrong, then get her shit because what can happen is that woman could be talking to another Hispanic woman, you know, who's the deaconess of her church, and when you look up. Well, that really don't happen in the Hispanic churches. Women don't have a lot of foothold in the Hispanic church, but you know what I'm talking about. So
mhm.
when them two women come together, that's not two bird brand bitches cocking. Those are two women of faith who are willing to rally all the parishioners in their respective churches in order to anti ICE. That's a dangerous movement. That's more dangerous than a bunch of people even just taking to the streets. So, um,
So hold up. Finish your thought and then I'll get in.
no, please, always go ahead.
Okay, so to your point, do you think we're getting closer and closer to those various factions understanding that we truly are all in this together and we need to start thinking of this thing as the we and they? Meaning, are we in fact getting closer to full on civil unrest? Or do you still think most people can't even fathom that? Because the way I see people moving so freely, so easily. Like this ain't gonna happen in their state, and it may be because, for the most part, it's only happened in blue states thus far. But what happens when, yeah, Marlon, like we playing some spades, we versus they? What happens when the full fledged campaign is launched
Mhm.
and it goes truly nationwide? What happens when, excuse me, Trump rolls over and he remembers that Puerto Rico is a part of the United States and he wants to launch an operation in Puerto Rico?
Mhm.
And
I
you,
just need us to pay attention when they start gathering the money. One of the things you always taught me, and I try to hold on to it, Lee, is follow the money, right?
yep,
Follow the money, follow the money, follow the money. And in my opinion, there's going to be a uptick, okay, of money, just like it was for the Black Lives Matter, just like it was for gay and the alphabet. I call them the alphabet crew.
Mhm.
mm-hmm.
Uh, so eventually, we're about to have a cache of money available for God knows what. Don't ask me. Of victims of ICE, damn near like it's a mesothelioma commercial. Okay, have you been? Has ICE snatched your baby out of off the playground? You have a claim. Okay, so there's going to be a cache of money. Um, and believe it or not, it's going to be paid by the bleeding heart American white woman.
Mhm.
Okay,
It's
the
gonna
bleeding
come
heart America, and some of it is going to come from, of course, these religious capacities, because don't nobody tithe and believe like Latinos. The Catholic Church been dibbing dabbling in their kids for hundreds of years, and they still keep it popping. Okay, so what we're going to see is this cachet of money, and what I want, if it's not already started, it has to have already started, because
It ain't.
we relocating motherfuckers, and we
Rashi, I
we
want you,
warning people.
Rashi, I want you to understand. If you go out and support any of these people, they've already said they're going to launch a federal investigation into you for supporting terrorism. They learned from 5 years ago. The problem is people weren't paying attention.
Mm.
They're choking off the source. The only way that money's going to come in is going to be by the federal government for reparations, if you will, for what happened under Trump. Two states like Minnesota, California, New
White
York,
folks will get those reparations.
and you know white people will, because they're going to hoard it. They're going to run to the front of the line. They're going to say that they were the main ones out there taking all the slack.
They were outcasts.
Yep, yep,
They
yep.
have social anxiety issues.
Come on, man. I know a 5-year-old girl who was close to my family. Her mother has her out at school in Anoka. She was picked up. African American girl was picked up from ICE by ICE, and her mother had to bring her birth certificate and prove that she was an American citizen. All she had, Rashi, was what they call fine hair. So they,
Mm.
Hey, they just, hey,
Yeah,
let me
good
tell
hair.
you,
so,
you
so they
ain't even what you laughing. I mean, you tripping about that, but let me tell you about the
call,
irony of our
yeah,
irony. Remember
hold
them
on,
videos I
wait,
sent you
hold
about
on,
them catching the
hold on,
Native
sister.
Americans as
Hold on,
well?
sister. I don't want you to denote this baby who's crying and having nightmares.
Because she had asked girl.
Because no, because they picked her up and they took her away and they put her in an ICE detention center, and that's where her mother had to go get her. She's 5 years old. This is what I've seen in child protection services where kids are nervous and have behavioral issues because they have been removed out of their homes. This has lasting ramifications. And I will say this again, when we talk about our pain, sometimes we jump right over into somebody else's pain and denote that we're supposed to have pain in the first place. This is a 5-year-old African American girl. She's not Somali. Her mother's darker than my mother. Her father's darker than me. And we have to understand that these are real life situations that's going on. Just like that 5-year-old Latino boy got shipped directly to Texas. That little girl, if her mother was somewhere incoherent, could have been sent to Texas too. People are not signing up for this shit. And like I say again, it's always this, and this is part of the reason why I wanted to say that, because when the brother brought that up about Nakeem, I'm like, yo, these kids, that story dwarfed the story of the 5-year-old boy. That story, the story about the 5-year-old black girl ain't even being talked about. My man Mike, who got shot in the face with the canister right after they killed Good, nobody's online interviewing Mike. Nobody's asking him how does it feel to be shot in the face by a canister point blank by ICE. He's not a victim in this conversation. And that's the part what I'm talking about. Like, yo, when there's real victims out here, there's people out here that I'm pretty sure in Minnesota that we're not talking about that's being kidnapped by ICE, that's been raped by ICE, that's been tortured by ICE, that look like us. And that's not a part of a conversation. When you give some Nazi skinheads the ability to run around unchecked, if you don't think
And
that,
mask.
if you do not think that they're not out here hunting niggas, something is wrong with you. And this is why I always say, this is why certain people don't need to be on the forefront of the fight, because they don't understand the full fight. They only understand the kabuki theater of it all. And I got love for Nikema. I got love for Chantel, and I'm glad those sisters are out. I sent her daughter Jada, who's a part of my team with the watch. I sent her a text. Hey, I'm praying for your mother, because I meant that sincerely. I have a black mother that was in prison when I was a teenager. I don't believe that black women should be locked up, period. So you can't play that shit with me. But what I will tell you is that there's other people that's out here suffering more, and we're not paying attention to that. And when we're talking about folks out there rallying and protesting, that's fine. But these people are still locking kids up. And if you want to follow the money, Rashi, to your point, how about ICE has a larger budget than the CIA, the FBI, the DEA?
Right, right. An expanding budget, right, based on need.
An expanding budget, and they're having phone calls with the stockholders about how productive this has been for their business. They're getting a return.
Prison industrial complex.
Come on. And then we're not having the other follow-up conversation in the state of Minnesota that we're not having in this moment. Just sorry, like certain things are a distraction, but you got to really pay attention to it. They're talking about denaturalization. Tom Emmers is putting forth the bill for denaturalization. So if you are a person who's a felon, you may no longer be you may not be an American if they get their way. That is a true conversation. That's not being held in the midst of all of this. Sort of like nobody really wanted to talk about Project 2025. So we're going to keep on doing what? Falling for the sparkly thing, or we're going to really focus on what's here? Because if they start a denaturalization campaign, think about
slaves and free labor.
Come on, man. Think about your brother, your sister, your cousin, whomever it may be. If they have a felony, if they feel like they're undesirable, whatever the case may be, they can denaturalize them. And then, if you're African American, as I saw with the clip with my sister Regina King in the white chick, where she said, well, where's your people from? When she said they were from Los Angeles. Oh, no, not Los Angeles. No, not LA. Where are your people really from? Well, where do we go back to? Where do they ship us back to if we're denaturalized? See, that's a conversation we're not having. And that is a collective conversation that we should be pushing back and having that discussion. And right, Marlon, this is all because of white fear and white replacement theory. And so I love my sisters. I want my sisters to be protected. But Black folks, we're all on the hook on this one. This is a Black man, Black woman, Black child issue at this moment. As far as I can remember as a kid, these folks been telling us to go back to Africa. They said that long before they saw West African or East African in their schools, their neighborhoods, their churches, their grocery stores. They've been telling us to go back to Africa. And I think that sometimes because we are polite Negroes.
Have you heard about the new cruise, brother?
I saw the running joke. I saw the running joke. Yeah, I saw that.
Okay, look. So this is what I suggest we do. Okay, because it's all about applicable behavior, right? What can you do? If you know you live in a sanctuary city, those are the ones who are going to get most of the ice. If you already hate others, or you didn't already have a restricted covenant in your real estate, or if you're one of these podunk towns that where you can't even really get good employment, then you don't have to worry about ICE, because ICE is not trying to clear Concordia, all right, Concordia, Kansas. ICE is looking to do its most disruptive behavior in cities where they have one. Let's start here. Turned over more than 4 or 5 hundred employment violations. If
Mhm.
you in a city where they done came through all these warehouses and manufacturing sites, and
Mhm.
every time they sweep through, they they come out with Jorge and Manuel,
Mhm.
then you just need to know that they coming. They coming because they know statistically, based on the sweeps, that's where they are, right? If you so what do we do about that? You have to, as an employer, either create a venue of your business where the people ain't watching every dime going in and out, which is doable. It's a lot that can be done with petty cash, you understand?
So,
Petty
Rashi, let me
cash.
ask you this question:
or,
If
yes.
you are an illegal immigrant, that's against the crime in this country, right? Just hear me out. That's against the crime, right? That's against the law. Being an illegal immigrant, right? That's against the law, right?
Yes.
Yes, but it's a
Okay,
misdemeanor, but yes.
okay, all right. Misdemeanor nonetheless. So if I assist you in going through state lines, knowing that you're a legal immigrant, am I not aiding or abetting to a crime?
Yes.
And if I'm no,
Hiring a
no, no, I want you no,
non-citizen
no,
without a
no, no, no,
J1.
no, 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 I
I'm
don't want
trying to
you.
say it right.
No, no, you're
J1
not. No, no, no,
citizenship
you're
is
not
how
saying
you
no,
hire
no, you're not
illegals.
saying it right. I just need you to answer the question. Don't put your thought into it. I'm gonna show you where I'm going. Is that not aiding and abetting if I assist you in a crime across state lines? Yes or no?
Yes, sir. It's federal, in fact.
Okay. So the governor of Texas, the governor of Louisiana, the governor of Georgia, Mississippi, Florida, they assisted illegal immigrants traveling
Love it.
across state lines to come to the same cities that the
Love it.
federal government are now going to and raiding, saying they commit said crime. That would make them what? Aiding and abetting to a federal crime. Am I right?
Well, they saying they spreading the love,
No,
but
no, no,
yes,
no,
you
no,
are
no,
right.
no.
You're right. Yes, you are
Okay.
right. If
So what
you if you physically put in help to help other people do something
physically,
that's even fit, like you paid the money, you hired the driver, you sanctioned the paperwork to move the people, you
mhm.
are complacent in the actual crime act. Yes.
So since they are complacent, what needs to be the campaign for the Democrats moving forward? You're right. It's such a
Lock all
crime
asses up.
that we're going to charge those who assisted these immigrants that you are using federal dollars in the north and northeast and out west to round up. We're going to charge you with the crime that you publicize. Matter of fact, you guys ran campaigns, y'all had commercials, y'all had everything showing that that's what you were doing. That's how you know who all these people are. That's how you know who the murderer is. That's how you know who the rapist is. That's how you know all of these things about these gang big bangers and everything else, because they were in your state and you decided to give them a Greyhound ticket. You decided to give them a charter bus. You decided to put them on planes and unleash them inside of New York City, to unleash them inside of Minneapolis, inside of Chicago, inside of Portland, Maine, inside of Portland, Oregon, inside of Seattle, Washington, and Los Angeles. You did that. So we're going to charge.
I want you to hear this though, brother Barry. Before I mean, you're absolutely right. But if you Texas and you border where the problem is, it's like almost unfair if you're talking about this as a national
Unfair.
problem.
Wait, hold on. Unfair. A
Because
five-year-old,
it's a
5-year-old.
national problem, right?
Wait, no, no, no,
But
no. It's not. No, no,
South
no.
Dakota is not having the same
Rashi,
problem as
Rashi,
Texas.
Rashi. Time out, Rashi. If you want them out the country, and this is your claim to fame right now, but you brought them deeper into the country, and you're saying that it's a crime, and you're agreeing that it's a crime, that's aiding and abetting. Now, if this was a black man selling dope, if this was Puffy with some goddamn baby oil, we're saying that he's in federal prison for aiding and abetting in the freak off.
Rico.
But we're saying
Rico, where the Rico case at?
we're saying because this dude is in a wheelchair, he closer to the Mexico border. He wasn't aiding and abetting in a crime because he was doing it when Donald Trump was not in office. He did it because Donald Trump told him to do it. So his ass, when the Democrats take over, and I agree, it's a crime. We all agree that it's a crime.
It's a Rico.
Okay, it's racketeering, right? And oh, you know what? It's even more. You know what? You're right, Lee. Because here's the thing: when you take in the billions of dollars that they're making now, based off of this ICE budget, correct?
Yes.
It is racketeering and it's conspiracy, right? And it's an
It's
operation
organized.
and it's organized. Am I right?
Yep.
Okay, so we just proved right here that those red states are doing a RICO act against the rest of America. And so I don't think that we should be trying to figure out some type of sympathy for these white men who are making billions of dollars off of this calamity. I don't. I think what we should be saying is what's good for the goose is great for the gander. And if this is what we're going to do, once we get Trump ass out of here, y'all ass is next on the chopping block. And we're not going to hold no apologies. We're not going to feel like we're sorry for some of these people. That's what needs to happen to sweep this country out. Because the truth of the matter, you said tangible acts. If this country does not rid itself of white supremacy, this country will not last another 10 years. It will not. Like this is the apex of violating what should be boundaries amongst Americans. And these folks are violating children, they're violating women, they're violating handicapped folks, they're violating elderly folks. They don't care. And if somebody else don't give two fucks more as a collective, it shouldn't just be about freezing in the cold. This should be more so about what they have done to this country and what they are doing to this country, and they should be held accountable. But until the Democrats start talking like that, versus talking about what other people inside of the tent ain't doing, and I saw a sister said we're Aboriginal. Listen, I'm gonna tell y'all something. I'm ADOS. I roll with the ADOS camp, and I know they got the FBA camp, and I know they got the Black Israelite camp. But at one point, what we have to understand, sometimes we got to put our differences aside and just come together and say, yo, they fucking us all over. And until we learn how to do that, because you have to understand, white people fought a 100-year war where they were in Europe fighting, killing each other crazy. Matter of fact, the most bloodiest wars in world history has happened on European soil. That's how white folks kill. So you got to understand, they will put their differences aside to come at us. We got to learn how to put our differences aside to stand up to them and fight them. And until we understand that, and it doesn't mean you got to fight all white people. When they were fighting in Haiti, they had white allies, but they had white people that asked that they spanked. They had white allies who said, okay, we'll support you guys. We'll be scouts. We'll be spies. We'll help you logistically. We'll help you in battle sometimes too. But until we understand that about ourselves, we're going to always fall short, because what we do, and that's what I was pissed off about with the brother here, it's like, yo, we always try to figure out a way to start fighting each other when white folks are set tripping.
I want to do something because it's almost an hour in and we got other stuff to talk about. I want to acknowledge this. All this is going on in Minnesota right now, and it's negative 25 degrees yesterday with the wind chill. Oh,
negative 34. No, negative 34. Negative 34.
Okay, negative 34. Man, it's cold as hell out there. And folks are standing out, protesting, letting their voices be heard.
We warm here. We only negative 11. Y'all need to get with the game.
So we all need to agree to your point, Thomas. We need to put our differences aside because this is a threat greater than us. This is a threat greater than our factions, without a doubt. And if you talk about unity, you have to put some things aside in order to embrace more of what you have in common than what you have different. And some of the differences are extremely silly. It's extremely silly. And these are not silly times. These are not the times to be playing games. Because these folks have been waiting for a long time to set the country up like this. And you see they are executing every day to their plan. And we ain't got one right now, seemingly, as the generic American public. And we need to get one quick, fast, and in the hurry, as my grandparents used to tell me. You know what I'm saying? Because the clock is ticking and it ain't ticking on our side. Speaking of, there are a number of court cases that have fallen apart for the administration regime. One of which is DEI hiring or firing. It was ruled that that was unconstitutional. But the damage has been done, especially in higher education.
Mm-hmm.
The damage has been done where funds have dried up, funds have been spent on other things, funds aren't in the appropriations for this year.
Mm-hmm.
So the damage has been done, and getting them reappropriated,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that you have the same administration,
Mm-hmm.
the same regime, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
in power, is going to be difficult.
Mm-hmm.
The sad part about this is they are very good at making noise about what they're doing. They
Mm-hmm.
are also excellent at not making noise when they freaking lose.
Mm-hmm.
SCOTUS was thought to have ruled on Supreme Court of the United States. I'm sorry, was thought to have ruled on the tariffs this week. They whiffed on it.
Mm-hmm.
They whiffed on it. Doesn't mean it's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
SCOTUS does seem skeptical about Trump's powers at firing Lisa Cook. Lisa Cook is the sister that is a federal governor. She's on the Fed committee.
Mm-hmm.
So um, she's the first black woman appointed to that committee as a governor. She's an economist by trade. She came under the IRE of Trump back in August. He put on a Truth Social post that uh, there was evidence of her committing mortgage fraud before she was appointed back in 2022. No evidence has been presented as of yet. It doesn't look like that's actual. It's just, again, another smoke screen. Like,
Mm-hmm.
as I said about 10 seconds ago, maybe 30, they are very good at being loud about what they want to do, but they are excellent at being loud about when they lose. And there have been a lot of losses that this administration has taken. They fired folks that they had to rehire. They had to pay them more money. Rashi, you gave me credit for saying follow the money. Look at where your money's being spent.
Mm-hmm.
Look at where your money's being spent. I saw an article today talking about when Trump wanted to go to a NASCAR race. I want to say it was the Daytona. Secret Service spent damn near 600 million, no, $600,000 just in hotel rooms. Just in hotel room, dude. You are not a private citizen. You are the president of the United States of America. You cannot just do whatever you want to do because it costs you, me, la di da di money for him to be able to do it. That stuff ain't coming out of his pocket,
Mm-hmm.
but he's pocketing a lot of the money that's coming into him for the various causes that he's championed.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee you that. I guarantee you that.
Mm-hmm.
Because Congress, yet again, is passing the buck and letting this cat do whatever he wants to do. The
Mm-hmm.
House just the other day took up a vote about limiting his powers with respect to Venezuela, and they whiffed on it. They're like, no, we ain't gonna do it.
Mm-hmm.
Let him do what he wants.
Mm-hmm.
How does that work?
Mm-hmm.
You're the Congress of the United States of America. There are three, allegedly, equivalent branches of government, allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
At what we're seeing right now is nothing of the sort.
Mm-hmm.
Martin said Trump was at the college football national championship. Yes, he was. How much did that cost us?
Mm-hmm.
Hell, that was in Miami. He's going to be at the Super Bowl. I guarantee he's going to be at the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
How
He
much
was
is that going
left.
to cost us as
Mm-hmm.
taxpayers?
And let me tell you, not to take us off the tip, but him coming to our Super Bowl, I think it ruined our team. When he came
Mm.
here, when he came here and said the Chiefs was his team, they lost. They ain't won since. They lost their home. They done lost their coaches. They
They
losing
moving out of
Steve.
Kansas
They
City.
moving that man. He came and dismantled the Chiefs, all with one statement. Hey, that's my favorite team. So just get. It's not just his presence. There's something malevolent about his actual attention that makes it fall apart. All right, so listen, this money that we spend though, um, we just now start paying attention to it. We start paying attention to whether or not he's receiving large gifts in the form of planes, large gifts in the form of, and so while we can focus on that, I think what we need to do is think about how we're going to stop him from doing that Venezuela, Greenland, Nigeria type behavior. It's his foreign affairs
Impeachment.
that I think that are going to fall us.
Yeah.
Yes, he is domestically quite malignant. No worries. and we he get on our personal nerves like he the drunk uncle. Cool, cool, cool. But when he do what he do out there, that Israeli shit, the Venezuelan stuff, the Nigerian stuff, the Greenland, some kind of that weird stuff he doing up at Greenland, it is going to have long lasting ramifications for the average American citizen, especially anyone who wants to be a global traveler. They're going to be looking at us like our breath stink before we even open up our mouth.
Not black
You know,
people, white
hey,
people.
it can
Yes,
get there. Well, they already, first of all, as far as Yoko Ben Ban, Yoko, what's his name? What's his name? Come on, Thomas, help me. Yoko Benhanan. Okay, one of the old dudes said black folks already got a negative connotation associated with us globally. Like there is even in Africa, even Africans hate niggas. So you don't have to worry about nobody hating black folks. They don't want to see your black ass in the Swiss Alps. No way. But
I've not encountered that.
I
Like
have, even
when
in
I was in
Ethiopia. I have.
when I was in Italy, when I was in France, I
Maybe
was
not in
that was
France. Them Africans and Arabs and condition them French people. They don't even know who was who no more. But globally, the African really does not have no big friends except maybe in the Caribbean, maybe.
mm.
But mostly I'm worried about cause that's what they say. See the world. See the world. You're on a floating rock in space. You should see the world. That's what most military men enlist for. They want to see the world. They want to see something other than. And so
Americans
when
want
we
you to
start,
explore the world.
yeah. So
Americans
when we start hitting them streets as American, and you know our Americanness is undeniable. Uh, Americans are under you. They know when they dealing with us, and then I just worry about our
but
leader
why
making it so in the rest of the world we look like our breath stink.
why
You know.
many of us may not even be able to travel the world when he's done. He's
Mm.
destroying the economy so much. He's destroying the fabric of the country from the inside so much. And I think the poor conditioning of American that goes back to the poor education is we always think outer versus inner. That's why you see people spend so much money on plastic surgery and everything else, or they'll even say I'm a vegan, but the internal health is dying. We have to really think about what's going on within, because that's what's exhibiting without. He has no control of what's going on within. I think what Trump has shown is that there has always been foreign interest inside of the country that's been handled by national politicians. If we want to say the Israelis, if we want to say the Russians, but they're not the only group of people that have had benefactors that have been elected officials in the United States. We've had elected officials locked up for bribery and other things that's taken place on a global level. Trump has just expedited all of that, and he's made it more. Um, Once we talk about this whole thing with the peace commission and all of those things, yeah, that's terrible.
We'll get to that in a second.
But if you take the tariffs, Americans are paying for those tariffs. This man said,
Correct.
$3 for chicken, some broccoli, and dinner. Hey man, the big roll of turkey that was once $14.99 at the grocery store now here is $19.99. That's a $5 jump. That's not a cut. That's a raise. And listen, there's a bunch of wild turkeys running. Jenny O is right here inside of Minnesota. We got plenty of turkeys around here. So why are we paying more for turkeys when there's plenty of turkeys here?
You probably got some job turkeys up there too, sucker.
Plenty, plenty. But I think what we have to really look at on an American level, this is where you close the ranks and you really have to do an internal house cleaning. And that's really what this has taught me. Trump has showed us that there are cracks in the Constitution. There's cracks in this three branches of government. It's cracks in how we assume that our elections are fair and balanced. It's cracks in how we just trust the polling and the data. It's cracks on how we have allowed the billionaire class to be able to own politicians and apologetic to that billionaire class. So he's exposed all of the cracks. Now, this is what you typically do when you have your cracks exposed. You either seal the crack or you let everything crumble. But that's where Americans are at, and that starts internally. And until we fix that internal issue, and part of it goes back to the original sin of slavery. Because if white folks stop trying to hold black folks here in this country back so much, when it comes to inventions, when it comes to politics, when it comes to theory, a school of thought, when it comes to culture, then this country would be more powerful than ever before. But that sick, nasty disease called white supremacy, that is the true illness that's breaking this country. And who's a better poster child for Mr. Yuck than Donald Trump?
So, you talked earlier about not being able to travel the world. Rodney, I want you to jump in here. So, when you look at the economy, the fact that Powell has said publicly he thinks we're losing more jobs per month than we're gaining, roughly 20,000 a month. The value of the dollar is declining, steadily declining. And that's happening because we don't make anything in America but war. Let's be clear.
Mm.
War is our greatest export. If you want to say oil, okay, well, you can say that. But war is our greatest export. We really don't make anything that people need here in America. Again, except for oil. But they can buy oil other places. I think this is why Trump has been so hell bent on getting to Venezuela's tankers. By the way, we took another tanker just the other day, and that one plus the one right before that just popped up off the shores of Puerto Rico. So, um, we also executed another airstrike in the Pacific Ocean this go around. Um, who knows? I don't. To me, Trump has made America that hot chick from high school at your 30-year reunion. You know, she was bad in high school. She was bad. Everybody wanted her, but she was into the dope boys. So she got about 3, 4 kids now, five, six baby daddies, and she's just not the same. But she still has the same attitude. She has that. I know, right? That's what I say. Yeah, 5, 6 baby dads. Yes, she got that same attitude. She got that attitude from high school when you run through. Like that don't work, dog. And that's what he's making America to be. He's making America to be that bad chick from high school that growed up, was into them dope boys, got 3, 4 kids, but 5, 6 baby daddies, but got the same stank attitude from high school. Like, don't nobody want to play with you. Don't nobody even want to talk to you.
You see what Marlon said? She was bad in high school, but she's unexceptional.
You know what I'm saying? So now the EU and everybody else is talking about they need to build without us. They don't need to count America in at all. Now you can say kudos because finally we are not as heavily involved in the UN's budget. We're not as heavily involved monetarily with the UN. So you can say all that. You could say all that. I don't agree, but you could say those things.
Mm-hmm.
It's not making us any better off, I don't think.
But are we putting in the factor? Remember the intel that they said that they fed falsely to the United States on purpose when it came to Russia and the Ukraine, and the Russians bit on the fake intel that they shared with the U.S. And that way that they knew that the U.S. was helping Russia against the Ukraine. Yep. And that's why they're building without us. Because I think that story has gone as a small sliver or a blurb in the United States media. When your allies are saying, we can't even trust you with war secrets because you are working against our interests, our collective interests, right? And that is being fed to you and your, because remember, this is the same guy that's saying, I don't address Congress because when I say something to Congress, it gets leaked. Well, shit, Can't nobody say anything to you on an international level because when they're speaking to you, it gets leaked as well. So if there's a leak, the leak is clearly coming from your side of the line, right?
Right.
I think what Rashi is talking about as far as international, I think that's really the biggest cue. And I will say that that may spill over sooner or later to even African Americans. Because let's be mindful. Under Biden, wasn't it not Brittany Griner, what's that?
Grinder. Grinder.
Griner, who
Mhm.
was kept as almost, I believe, as a political pawn inside of Russia. Am I right?
Yeah.
And so if that worked for Russia, what means that if anybody else goes overseas and they have something that they want from the United States, that they won't arrest another black person. So those are the types of things that, I'm just like saying, hey, things happen because we say it's three branches, but the fourth is supposed to be the media. The media is not reporting a lot of these intricate things that are really letting you know what's going on around the world. This man talking about a peace committee. It's like, yo, don't nobody want to be around you, homie. You stink. Nobody
Say
wants to
that.
be around you. You got to change your shitty diaper. They smell you. And that's also something that they're talking about on the world stage. He stinks.
Yes.
Like literally, like
Literally.
when you
Literally, it's been
think
said
about like that's
numbers.
what's being said about an American president. He smells like he's shitting his diaper. That's what they're saying about him. You guys can go with all the jokes, the mean things, and laugh at all the stuff you think he's doing. But that's what they see about this American president. And we understand what hurt people do. They hurt other people more. And he's clearly hurting.
Yeah, he's definitely hurting. He's flipping people off, telling them fuck. I mean, when they bring up his political and personal affiliations, he's going straight to ad hominem attacks. Fuck you and your mama, and doing stuff that my kids do to me every day. I thought I was the only one being flipped off on their job, but apparently, if you are but do you know? They fired the. Now let's talk political dissent. The guy on the job took his shot. He shot it. It was time to shoot his shot. He had the president in front of him. He decided to let it be known that you a pedophile protector. Blah blah blah. Okay, he made his name known in the news and all of that. But then he also lost his job, right? But he also showed the president for being petty. He showed that if you attack the president, he'll flip you off and say "fuck your mama." You know what I'm saying? So we're dealing with a gentleman who's at least so so special that we get to see his draws. Like he's not intelligent
Yeah.
enough to cover his. We see his slip. He cannot cover himself, and the people who he's around are not on his team the way other presidents usually had people on their team. So they just let it slip show. They just let his inability to process and deal uh, with that. What you say, Marlon? Oh boy, got his money. That's what they better do. Cause as long as they got George Zimmerman his money, they got what's his name? Darren Wilson got his money, and I think they finna give some to the one that shot that lady in the face for when she Sonia
Oh yeah,
Massey's
he got his
killer.
money.
He got
He
his
got his
money.
money.
So
He got his
that's
money.
right, Marlon. Get that
So,
man his money. And if next time I see the president, I'm gonna make sure to call him a pedophilic pimp so I can get me some money. Cause the truth should pay
right. So we do have the clip queued of the shooting in Minnesota. Please, everyone, understand parental advisory is warned. This is a graphic image. Look away now if you don't want to see it. Go ahead, Thomas.
And this is shared by Brother Precise. Are you guys able to see it?
Yep.
you. Do you mind clicking onto the video itself? Will it allow you to expand the video itself? Thank you.
No. Thomas. Okay. So, how many people does it take to
You see that
attack a
pistol?
man when he's on the ground?
You see him hitting with that pistol?
Hmm.
Then you see on the ground? And look at the shots. You see it,
So
and they
you,
still, and you
yeah,
see they're
I
still
said,
shooting. You see they're still
I saw.
shooting.
So why do you need to shoot someone who's obviously at the point of not being able to resist, not trying to flee? But
And I
this
want
is what you get. This is what you get when you have cats that were bullied in high school. You give them a badge and a gun. That's what happens.
yeah, shout out to Brother Precise for sharing that. Thank you, P, for showing that.
Yeah, that's crazy. Let me put everybody back up there.
Now, that's the dude they just shot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's killed.
Just killed
yeah, he's died.
since we have been broadcasting.
Mm-hmm.
Please understand,
Yes,
people, since we started talking about ICE and their malignancy and how have they have yet and still killed yet another person. Like I said, when you go out there, be ready for the last contingency plan, which is it could be your last protest, it could be your last moment of dissent.
Well, I was.
Rodney.
Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
Rodney, you got anything to add?
This is the plan. This is the point. Violence and our death has always been their goal, and specifically black people. The other people are collateral or just sort of opened it up because even black people were okay with certain people being deported. Black people even talking about, oh, if somebody cheat me, I'm going to call on them so they can be deported. And it's always been about us, and they've always wanted to get us, and now they're doing it. They're doing it with impunity, and the violence is the point, is terrorism. White nationalism at its core is violence. We did a postcard writing campaign at the gathering last night demanding that our federal elected officials and our attorneys general uh, outline what they're going to do to protect us. Uh, we had questions. If ICE comes to your vehicle, which is an extension of your home, which is covered under the Castle Doctrine, or Border Patrol, it doesn't make any difference. These folks who are pretending to be immigration, if they come to your vehicle or your home and they start pulling on your door and trying to harm you, or they're trying to break into your house, what rights do you have?
Right.
And unfortunately, most of the politicians, and I've talked to two members of our assembly here, have given me the goalposts. And so there is no America that's come in to save us, like what historically our role has been in the world. There is no election, assuming that we have another one, that's going to save us. The judges, they might be able to do something after the fact for a little while, but if it goes up to the Supreme Court, they may not. So what did Frederick say? The ballot box, the jury box, or the ammo box? Well, we've already gone through the ballot. We've already gone through the jury. He stated he's declaring war on blue cities. He stated he's declaring war on specific groups of people. Well, my experience in war is that when someone's warring against you, they're trying to kill you, they're trying to hurt you. And not only, even when I was in war, we had a responsibility to render aid. If we just messed you up, we supposed to go there and help you up when you no longer have the ability to fight. That's not what these people are doing. And remember, whatever their title, put one of them on an immigration line and see if they know how to even look at the process, if they know the process. Um, put Why is the Bureau of Prisons stopping people on the street? They have no jurisdiction. They definitely have Border Patrol has no jurisdiction at your house. My point is,
Because they're not
the
on the border.
the longer we allow them to do it, like any bully, the longer they will do it and the more they will do. And if you look at the curve, just in this year from the first, how many people have been shot, how it's escalating, and how
Mhm.
it will continue to escalate, because that is historical in authoritarian regimes. The only thing that stopped the bully in school was you
Mhm.
stood up to the bully, and if need be, you popped him in the mouth. And usually it was a him, but it can be girls too. Pull the hair out.
Mhm.
What? But you have to stand up to the bully. If you
Mhm.
do not stand up to the bully, not only will the bully take your milk, but before you know it, he'll take your whole tray, and you'll be bringing him 30. Well, it used to be 35 cents for lunch.
Mhm.
You'll be bringing him 35 cents and giving it to him for lunch. So
Mhm.
35 cents. How old
everybody,
are you, Ronnie?
I'm hey, I'm a '60s baby. Everybody, get your gas mask, get your goggles, get
Do
your
you
helmet,
know
because you're gonna
them
need it.
dirty dogs tried to charge me uh $5.75 yesterday for Thursday. I said for some mechanically separated chicken nuggets and broccoli the kids didn't eat. They tried to charge me $5 for it. Lunch, Mr. Rodney, is not 35. It is now 5.75 in Missouri.
Well, but you know, this goes back to the idea of American greed, and I think American greed has to be inspected and talked about because a lot of people have supported this administration based off of what they feel like they're going to get, and that's really what it is. Okay, you're telling me that they are deporting some babies, they shooting some people. Well, what does my portfolio look like? Am I able to make money? You're saying that it's homeless people out there, and we got these big firms out there outpricing everything. No problem. What does my 401k look like? And that's part of it. It's almost like you're paying for gas to be put in the boat, but you're also drilling holes in the boat at the same time. You're not going to go anywhere.
But I think that folks are looking even at that wrong. So the economy is not the stock market, and your 401k and things of that nature are greatly impacted by the stock market. The economy is what Rashi just said. The economy is when you go to the store with your paycheck, when you are tasked from whatever utility company you have with your paycheck in order to meet what they are charging you for their services or goods,
Mhm.
and you cannot meet those. That's the economy. That's what people need to think about and look at, because gas prices are going down. Okay. But if the meat prices are going up, it's a loss. You're taking a loss. You buy gas, excuse me, maybe once a week. Bro, you got to eat every day. You got to eat every day. So
Mhm.
you're going to take that hit cost wise
Not only
daily.
that, but it costs gas to get that meat to the store.
Say that again.
It's a false it's the kind of everything is connected. It's the circle of life. Never mind. Bye.
I mean, it's a false dichotomy when you take a look at it. And Rodney, you're right. It does. White supremacy is the ideology of white supremacy. And I like always saying the ideology of white supremacy because I think people always say, you know, we're playing with the word, but it's an ideology. Ideologies don't mean that it's real. White supremacy is an ideology. Racism is systemic. And we have to be, and it's a reality of racism. Racism is myth, but racism is reality. And we have to deal with the reality of what's been happening for quite some time. We've kind of pushed this thing down the road, and I think we're just coming to the apex. I think that he is showing, going back to the capitalistic aspect of it, adding in that ideology of white supremacy. That's what they say when they're talking about white replacement theory, or when they're talking about MAGA, you know, make America great again. Now we understanding exactly, no matter what Kanye West tells you, now you know exactly what they are talking about when they say make America great again. And there's nothing great coming for us. They're talking about make America white again. They wanted to be up under white rulership. And it's interesting that this idea started with the Tea Party, then morphed into MAGA after Barack Obama was president. And I just think that we just have to take a look at it. I keep thinking about that brother being pistol whipped. They said it was a light-skinned black man. So seeing him being pistol whipped by all of those folks and then shot on the ground like that. And just, I want y'all in the warmer states to understand how cold it is in Minnesota. Like he pretty much got killed on the just on the freezer floor for the most part. Nobody with their right mind is out there trapping or doing anything else. That man was probably trying to get from point A to point B. Probably was asked to show his ID. He's an American. Probably told him, I'm not showing you shit, because I know that's what I would say if I because when you 51 years of age and you've been through this and you know what white boys are trying to do and you've been through this as a black man, you've been on a job and them telling you that you got hired because it was based off of affirmative action, right? Or you've been through the 60s, or he's 51, so he's probably in the going through it in the 80s under Reagan and all of that shit, being profiled in the whole nine. You don't got time for that. Like you don't want to put up with that. So just thinking about that what's the name, that footage and them surrounding him, beating him like a dog, and then the outside of it is seeing that they're not trained. Like these men are
at all.
These men are not trained.
Not at all.
And I don't know if you guys saw the woman that was behind them that was kind of filming. They didn't even secure the perimeter to make sure that they kept other people out of harm's way. And then
they don't know how. They don't know. They're not trained professionals, right?
Right. But you know what?
Proud Boy training don't cover that.
I was about to ask, do they train the Ku Klux Klan? Like,
no.
do you train Klan members, right? Or do you just deputize them and you say you have a right to rape, kill, and steal? And that's really what we're showing. So I think this only stops when Americans collectively say with one large voice, this is bigger than just ICE. We want this administration. We want this president. We want them gone.
Right, because they done made a Gestapo. People don't know. They say you're a fascist, and people used to just throw that around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, shut up. I don't deal with fascists because they didn't know what they don't know what fascism actually is, and they didn't even understand what a Gestapo is. ICE is a Gestapo, and I'm not trying to be like hyperbolic. When you get a band of people from a region,
Rashi, locally, people are pushing back on this. Is what I'm saying about Americans. It's funny when you say Gestapo. Gestapo, no, because some people think that's like anti-Semitic if you bring that. I'm just telling y'all the crazy shit. Listen, I live here. I'm able to see all the crazy shit that people say, right? And they say, well, they learned this from America. The Gestapo learned from America and the KKK. But the reality of it is he's doing it in the spirit of the Gestapo. So Rashi is absolutely fucking right. Because he's not doing it in the
that door-to-door action. If there's only one word for door-to-door action that's not sanctioned by the military, that's a good start. There's only some people who can come to your door.
Not the military.
Yeah, that's not the military.
Okay, well, or your local. Okay, if your local police ain't knocking on your door, and it's some other government entity, right, or nationalistic entity, that's a Gestapo. That's what they call people who hey, is there any Birkensteins in here? That's what they used to say. Now they saying, is Jorge and Manuel in there? Bring Leticia on out. And they line them up, and if you just happen to be Hispanic presenting, like you said, Lee, because you got an ultra perm or something, they beat your ass first and find out that you're not Hispanic later. That's it right there. That's Gestapo.
And it's just really here's the scary part. And this is why, to bring the Watch app into it, those same people, when this shit is disbanded, they're gonna run their asses to go apply to be police officers. And some of them are former police officers who quit the job. That's why we got 100 of them quitting around here to go join ICE. That's what they're gonna do. And they're gonna just wave it out. I'm just telling y'all, this is really what's gonna happen. They're gonna quit. They're gonna go get their $50,000 bonus. They're gonna go and take out all of this aggression, our own citizens, and then when it dies down, they'll wait till it dies down, and then they'll go to other parts of the country. They may be in Minneapolis now, but they'll go apply for the Las Vegas Police Department. They'll go apply for the Atlanta Police Department. They'll go apply for the Kansas City Police Department, and then those from your neck of the woods will come here. This is the game that they're playing. It's nasty work. It's real nasty work. And once again, here's a conversation that we have to ask as a community. In order to stop them, are we willing to take those jobs to make sure they don't have jobs to come back to?
Well, how we going? No, that ain't how you do it. You got to stop it in the household. You got to stop your daddy from putting on his ICE uniform.
Hear me out what I'm saying, because I want to make sure I'm clear. Because we're going to have to protect our communities to make sure that there's no need for those type of people to be enforced. Are we willing to step up, not only get rid of them, but also make sure that there's never a need to overhire police again in our communities again?
Well, there's only one way.
Man. You know, we have a very
Brother Rodney. When did you see us not have to need the police back when the Panthers were active, right? When they were walking the street. I mean, no, for real. When did we stop needing the police? I don't like the police. I grew up in the projects. I don't mess with 12. But let's keep it above. If somebody shoots somebody, or if there's domestic violence, or something's going down,
that's not what I'm saying.
We call the people. We call those very police.
I'm not saying abolish the police or not have the police. I'm just saying create the conditions in our community that where nobody can
where we need them less. Okay.
Yeah, where they can't use that excuse.
All right. So the way to create those conditions, Brother Barry, is when every neighbor is willing to talk to their neighbor. Facts. And I don't how many okay, so imagine you got neighbors in 9 places. There's a neighbor in front of you, a neighbor in back, side to side, and in each diagonal. How many of those individuals have you spoken to?
I speak to all my neighbors.
How about you, Brother Rodney? How connected are you to your neighbor?
Well, I used to bring them food, so we pretty much all speak. So that's not really.
They waiting on you to come on with them vittles. How about you, Brother Lee? I know you a new implant, so I got it.
No, I've spoken to all my neighbors though.
If you grew up in a certain way, Rashi, you're going to speak to your neighbors, because the other aspect of it, this is an old thing that men do. Everybody's check. I gotta size you up. Hey, what's up? And then you out there cutting grass, and they cutting grass. It's going to be a conversation. It may be about sports. It may be about what happened in the community. But typically, when you planning on being there for a minute, you're going to talk to the people, because in other aspects, like my neighbor across the street, I had to go shut the trunk one night because their trunk was open.
He went to bed and forgot he left the trunk open.
Maybe, but I shut the trunk to make sure. Or he's come over and used his snow blower when it got too much snow, and he's done my driveway. And when he was working late one night, me and my boy, we went out there and we shoveled out his driveway. Like, that's just what you do. The other neighbor next door to me, to my right, he was having a situation where he needed help pushing his car into the garage because he was fixing on his car. He asked us. We went right over there and pushed in. I've asked him questions about gardening and some of the things that he's done in his home, right? And
it's a hard road to hoe. You will at least admit that it's time consuming and maybe a little bit more difficult for some than others to make sure that your community at least talks to each other, let alone being on one accord, right?
No,
but they at least actually physically look at each other and speak to each other.
Rashi, with all of this on one accord of what I'm saying, and Rodney's saying it's taking away the root cause. No, what I'm saying is the root cause is we're going to have to reshape collectively in this country how we see things and how we operate. Because the reality of it is the things that we let fall through the crack, this administration is a manifestation of that. And you can't reset this shit without resetting all of us collectively. There's things about us that we're all going to have to give up. And white supremacy, the ideology, and racism is the problem. But in order for that to change, we can't feed that ideology, nor can we continue to support that institution of racism, saying, well, that's just the system. No, we need to sit down and come up with a new system. No, we need to come up with a new ideology that erases that ideology. And we have to be like the Jews and say never again, because this comes from people not saying never again, allowing this to take place, allowing this man to become president for a second time. And I'm watching, and I'm gonna tell you how I know Americans ain't changed. I'm watching what's happening with this senator race inside of Texas. And I'm watching what they're doing to Jasmine Crockett. And the
You talking about
exact same
Jasmine?
thing that they're doing to Jasmine Crockett, they did to Kamala Harris. The exact same thing. And I can't say it without being truthful. Before they did it to Jasmine Crockett and Kamala Harris, they did it to Hillary Clinton. So this is a part of the they did. It's this idea of challenging folks and using the small semantic things. With Jasmine Crockett's about APAC. And then I see the guy that they're champion, he's in the picture with one of the APAC guys from 2019. But look at the people who are doing it. It's supposed to be these white liberal commentators, right? The same people who did it to Kamala Harris.
You knew they wasn't gonna
White
do Kamala.
liberals. Oh,
When
white
her and Cory Booker came together and did that commission, she should have known. Like, I ain't trying to be funny. When you tell no, it's not the black individual, black blah blah blah. It's these clans and these Proud Boys and this that's doing it. You should have known you wasn't gonna be able to get the high chair because you told on who was
Rashi,
down there doing the real
but
dirty work.
the fact of the matter is, we as a country, we had a choice, and that's the one thing that I keep on trying to say about this country. The thing that we have to change is stop always acting like it's somebody else's fault. We had a choice. We could have chose Kamala Harris, or we could have chose Donald Trump. You could say Kamala Harris was a piss poor candidate, but Donald Trump was already a piss poor president. There's nothing in his past that said he was going to be a better president. Only way you can do that is by demonizing this woman. This should have been a slam dunk for this country. And until we have that outright conversation, whether he stole it or not, the reality of it is his ass should have been in jail, so he never was president in the first place. He should have never been a candidate. I'm sitting here watching Jack Smith on Capitol Hill talking about what's going on. And if you listen to what Jack Smith is saying, without a
shadow of a doubt,
that dude should be in federal prison right now. And we got to say that. But in this country, guess what happens? See, R. Kelly, before R. Kelly went to jail, Lifetime was able to do a movie. But we can't talk about these Epstein files. Somehow, when white men are getting in trouble, if you say something too early, the victims are going to be in trouble. Why wasn't that the case with R. Kelly? Remember, Diddy can't get out early because Diddy's a violent man, and he's going to cause harm to the victims. Well, why can't we find out about these Epstein files early? That's all I'm saying to y'all. It seems like in this country, it's a level of protection for white rich men to do the diabolical shit that Donald Trump is doing currently to the entire country.
All right, so I want to. We need to wrap that up and go into the last bit before we close out Greenland. So all of a sudden, there's framework for a deal, future deal, no specifics whatsoever in Greenland, but this comes as the meeting in Davos, Switzerland is going on. So on the 21st, again, there was an announcement of a framework of a future deal after a meeting with the World Economic Forum in Davos. Discussions being held about the Golden Dome missile defense system, which is a multi-layered defense system of sensors and intercepting weapons. Thank God I couldn't get it out of my mouth, to protect the United States of America from missile launches from Europe and or beyond. This on the heels of Trump also announcing that he is the board chairman for life for the Board of Peace. This happened Thursday. Now, once the board is aimed at resolving conflicts globally, member states have a 3-year term unless they pay $1 billion to fund the board's activities to earn permanent membership. $1 billion to fund the board's, the chairman of the board for life. Yes, Rodney, do those calculations. And he also has the power to overturn anything that they want to do without going back to them. He has the power to do that as the chairman of the board.
Mm.
He said, he being Trump, once this board is completed, completely framed, we can do pretty much whatever we want to do, and we'll do it in conjunction with the UN.
Mm.
I don't see that conjunction happening right now. I think he has burned his bridges with most of the nation states that are a part of the UN. I don't know who really wants to play with him. The board members for this peace board include Netanyahu. Uh, Putin has been invited. Now,
Did you say two
I don't
war
know about
criminals?
y'all.
Did you say
Huh?
two war criminals?
That's what I was about to say. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I remember last time I heard both of them were war criminals,
And did you say the
but they are
chairman of the
part of,
board is now a war criminal?
yes, and they're part of the board of peace. How the hell that work? You know, the thing that got me about this, it really stirred me up. I'm being 100% honest. Not only, I think Marlon said this earlier. Not only this is about grifting. We all understand that. If you don't understand that, you are truly lost in the sauce. Forgive me, Rodney. Might want to cover your ears. But the balls that this guy has to have to put himself constantly in the spotlight, or want to put himself constantly in the spotlight, the the undying need for him to be the center of attention is the thing that puts my brothers and sisters in harm's way.
Mhm.
His ego is literally going to get people killed.
Mhm.
Lee,
That's it.
Lee,
Plain and simple. There's no ifs,
no,
ands, or buts about it.
Lee, hold on. Greenland is rich in natural resources, all right, including iron ore, graphite, tungsten, palladium, vena- zinc, gold, uranium, copper, and oil. So if
Mm.
you think he won it because it looks pretty around his necklace, you've gone mad. There are resources on that chunk of land that have been untapped because don't nobody want to deal with negative 40 degrees Fahrenheit. But he can send somebody up there who don't have no problem
Are
getting
you saying this
seven.
is where Elon and his robots come into play?
Listen, you cannot run electricity. You cannot. Our light bulbs still have tungsten. If they're not LED, it still has tungsten in them. You understand? All of our dirty, any bomb we're going to create, our mother of all bombs, they're going to need uranium.
Mm.
Any type of electrical signal we're going to send, as far as our copper, our wires, they're going to need copper. Uh, Iron ore, literally the iron is what we build anything from. So, and most importantly, because we have not divested from fossil fuels, the oil, right? So, what's the closest oil tap we can get with more bang, less buck, and please don't tell me we won't pulverize Denmark. Please,
Venezuela.
okay. So in theory, Venezuela, but we got a problem there.
Mm.
Yes, they're close, but they affiliated. Who's not affiliated? Greenland ain't got no. Denmark ain't finna do all that
That's not
that the
true.
South American alliance is about to do.
But Denmark is a part of the UN, so they have
But they not
article.
connected like they over there. They not connected like they over there in the EU. They they over here next to us, and Canada is not prepared to defend that land. Who? Denmark finna send their army over there to defend. And by the way, they have. By the way, the military force in Denmark has doubled or tripled since we've been having this conversation. But but even, I don't care how many motherfucking skinny ass white dudes they send over there. We couldn't take that land if we want to act funky. and Canada is not going to stop us coming in those international waters going north in order to make that happen. Just like they didn't stop it when we got ready to take Alaska. So think about Alaska, how we got it, and then just put us two Alaskas on each side because it's about to go down.
Well, I would say the 25th Amendment.
Okay. You
I mean,
think
I, I,
that
I think Americans got to stop making excuses. It's our fault. This is what we unleashed on the world, and we have a remedy. Do we got the balls to do it?
No,
That's
do we do we
no,
have
no,
the Congress to do it?
no.
no.
That's not what I asked. I said, do we as a collective?
Wait, what is it?
Wait,
Say
hold on.
it. Say what it is.
I just said what it
The
was.
25th Amendment.
I just said what it was.
And the answer is no.
Do we
You
got
Correct.
because this idea of what everybody else should be doing, and like I said again, changing how we see it ourselves. It's part of that consumer thing. You buy so much because you think somebody else is the problem. Let me just buy something else to fix that person. But the internal check, there is a 25th Amendment. This is a 25th Amendment time. That should be the conversation around the country. And the fact that it's not the conversation around the country, we're going to we're going to haw, we're going to come up with everything else. You're going to hope you're going to have another election. You hoping and wishing while you watch everything else burning, and you know you got to break the glass. You just don't want to break the glass
But
because
Brother Barry is putting the power in this boy toy's hand.
but
You
hold on,
putting power in in the hands of his
wait, hold on.
toy.
But at the end of the day, because I noticed when the vice president came to Minnesota, you know what his words were? I want to turn the temperature down. We know that this is getting a little too wild. We want to make sure that we're not doing this. And he was very cordial with the governor. He was very cordial with the attorney general, different than what Trump has been saying. But that reminded me of JD Vance. I mean, not JD Vance, that reminded me of Mike Pence out of Indiana. Remember how Mike Pence wanted to turn the temperature down? And he said, oh man, we lost the election. Man, this is absurd. This is crazy. I don't want to depend on JD Vance. I don't want to depend on Mike Pence. I think this takes a collective problem of saying, no, we are not going to allow you to do this to our country. And Lee, I think what you're saying is real. Until Americans, I have not saw the athletes speak up for this. What if folks said, when there ain't going to be no all-star game? There's not going to be no Super Bowl. There's not going to be Major League Baseball. If everybody just stopped all of that shit.
Hold on now.
Said, yo, I'm just saying, brothers, because
Dang, he got excited like you said. Stop the porn.
You
Relax,
know what I'm
Lee.
saying? Shit. You talking about no MLB now. I got problems.
But until the distractions are put aside, because
Understand.
guess what? In baseball, there was a Asian pitcher that was picked up by ICE. How many more of these games are you going to expect to have these foreign imported players that
Okay.
they're going to start benefiting? And these guys are worth hundreds of millions of dollars to these franchises. When is that going to start impacting you to speak up? When are we going to have more celebrities talking than ever before? All these people got Instagram, TikTok pages, and the whole thing alike. When it's state-sponsored violence, everybody can speak up against the state, but people are not really speaking up against the federal government enough. I'm just saying to y'all, it's going to take a collective. Like it has to be. This is one of those times where majority have to really rule.
Hey, can I ask you a question real quick? Will you harbor
Make
a
it quick.
Hispanic family in your house?
Nope.
If they coming for a band of Hispanics and they lived in your community, would you let them run out of their house into your house and harbor them in your basement?
Nope.
And then I don't know what we talking about.
Well, because you're asking me a question and then you're asking me publicly. So if I say it and they right up in my house, then I'm a shit for brains to answer your question right
They
here.
can come up here. They ain't gonna like you, but they can lay right up in here with me.
But I'm going to tell you, this is why I say the difference in our experiences in America. My experience is I'm not rushing to the front of the camera to take no picture, even if I'm in a leadership position. Your experience is you go run up because women do that all the time. That's not, you don't
And
let
tell them it ain't. Yeah, and tell them it ain't right. I will run up.
You don't give them a target. I'm not gonna get on here and bloviate and say like the dude from Philadelphia, I'm gonna shoot a hole in their chest, da 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 da. I'm not going to put myself a target because I've been a target of a federal investigation before. And if you've never been through it, you don't understand. They take what you say and they will use that shit against you. Until people really understand the true scope of what's going on, folks don't get it. So what I would say, you answering me this publicly? No. All right?
We got 5 minutes left, so let's wrap. I'll start it off today a little differently. Uh, it's been 11 years since we lost Audra.
Hmm.
She passed away on the 14th of January in 2015. Um, it has truly been different since she's been gone. I had a great friend that I could talk to about anything and everything from sports to fashion to politics all day, every day, because she didn't do shit but watch TV as she did people's hair all day long. So she was very much plugged into the know about everything. And I miss her dearly. But this latest iteration has been just as good, if not better, in that we have been able to stretch the country in our quadrants, and been able to bring you a local feel when the news is hitting. I mean, obviously, right now everybody's on the back of Minnesota, so there's nothing better than have Thomas Berry there. But not too long ago, when the East were winning, we had an opportunity to get front hand knowledge of that as well with Sister Rashi. And there's always something happening in Vegas. So Rodney's been steadfast on that part of it as well. Uh, I want to thank you all for helping to continue this thing. Again, this baby was birthed out of Rodney Smith, and it just continued through different iterations. And this is the last leg still standing, if you will. But we're doing our thing still, and that's what's up. Rashi, you got anything to say? Okay. Time. Okay.
I kept hitting the unmute button. I guess my phone was trying to say I don't, but I do. I want to thank y'all fellas for surviving the Arctic blast. Rodney, how hot are you out there today? What's the temperature, Rodney? Because all of us is in the negatives.
Definitely not in the negative, very much in the positive.
All
Yeah,
right.
okay. So we all should have been with Rodney right now. I want to make sure you check on your grandma because as hot as her house used to be, she may be literally up in there frozen to death. Please check on anybody who is in within this Arctic blast who has not talked to you in the last 24 to 48 hours. Just call them. Just text them and say, you good? And that way you stop yourself from walking into a sneaky apartment with a dead loved one. All right?
Thomas, I know you got to get ready for your meeting. What you got to say?
Well, I got another meeting with NAACP. We got an emergency meeting coming up in the next few
Mm.
months here. I just want to say, man, to people out there, just keep in mind, man, keep your wits about you. And I keep on saying that. Keep your wits. Don't allow this chaos to make you fearful. There's nothing to be fearful of, but there's enough to protect yourself against. And love on your folks. Like this is not a time to be shooting at each other in the foxhole. I really find issue with the idea of shooting at each other in the foxhole. Black folks are not the reason. Black people are not behind ICE. And so what ICE does is on ICE. We don't have to own what white people do. That's the other thing with white supremacy is the idea that they never are accountable or have to be responsible for the shit that they do. Part of that changing is making them be responsible. So keep that in mind while you're out there. And if you're in the Midwest and around the country and you're getting this Arctic blast, I got a funny story to tell y'all afterwards because, man, we drove down here and let me tell you, the defroster was not defrosted in nobody's cars heading this direction. So,
Rodney,
y'all easy.
Rodney, what you got?
This is not going to end quickly. and it will only escalate and get worse as you see what happened from the first of the year to what's happening now. It will expand. I really encourage you all to do what Brother Barry says. Love on one another, especially those closest to you, and do it now. When you go someplace, let someone know where you're going and when you're expected to come back, and then tell them when you're on your way back. So at least there's a time frame that they have if you get picked up. And here's another piece: the violence is coming. And if it's not in your city now, it will be in your city, just like they just came to Vegas. So prepare, get your gas mask, get your goggles, get your helmets, and remember what Frederick said and later Malcolm expanded on. It's the ballot box, the jury box, or the ammo box. Do you want to live on your knees, or do you want to stand on your feet? This is your choice, and it's time we make that choice. I will not be on my knees.
That's what's up. Look, family. Everybody's listening live, everyone that watches us later. Thank you all for coming. Please stay warm, be safe. You all, we will see you next week. 1 week closer to pitches and catches reporting for spring training. Just keeping it real. Y'all be good. Y'all be safe. Until then, family.